Hi guys and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 with Rangers. So we're in our winter break at the moment, just at the beginning of January 7th, and we've got 10 days before we play Celtic, so this episode's just going to be going through the transfer dealings before that Old Firm game. It's a bit off the cuff, quite frankly. There's no sort of natural end point to this. So we're just going to go through the next couple of days before the Celtic game and basically see what happens here, because I know some people have been wanting to see more about the transfer dealings and how all that goes on, so just wanting to go through that a little bit just now. As you can see, Fabio Cardoso is set to sign for Southampton. That's £10 million up front and £6 million over 6 monthly instalments, 6 monthly instalments over the next 2 years. We also get 30% of any profit that Southampton make on this. And as a result of this deal, £10.5 million will be added to our transfer budget. So we're going to be letting him go. We're going to make a parting comment to him. We're just going to say he's been a fantastic servant and he's welcome back anytime. I've had a great time here. You've really helped me improve my game. I'd love to come back one day. So there we go. Nice. And we're going to accept the deal. Let's actually look at the dynamics and see what he thinks of ourselves and the club. He holds us in the highest regard as manager. I don't know if he has Rangers as a favourite club. Nah, just Benfica. But he does hold us in highest regard, so that's nice. And he has completed his Southampton move. He's now worth £14 million and has more than doubled his wage to 47k. And he looks, looking at him now, pretty bang average, to be honest. He doesn't look that great. I think sometimes when a player leaves and you see him in the different colours of another team, you get a better idea on what you actually think of him, whether you'd want to sign him or not. And I'd look at him as pretty average, to be honest. So I think we've done a good bit of business getting £16 million for him. He's a new record sale, breaking the £9 million from selling Alan Hutton to Spurs, which was still the record, which was quite incredible. Alan Hutton, who's now over in Spain somewhere. Good for him. Anyway, let's look now. We have a budget of 46 million and we have 73 grand in the wage bill there. Just want a little look at our best players that we could buy. We could buy this Diego Demi, deep lying German midfielder, who does look quite a good player. 13 million he's listed at. I don't think we want to spend 13 million on him. Shea Ojo, for example, let's have a look at him. He's currently listed. Did we get a more recent report? We did indeed. On the 6th of January we got a report which deems that he could be a 4-star player and he's costing 6.75 million. Let's go get him then. Shea Ojo, 23 years of age, looks a player, bit of strength, bit of pace, quite a bit of pace actually, bit of strength as well. That's quite rare for a winger to have so much strength. He's got a bit of flair, he can dribble, he can cross. Presumably he's left footed, he's left only. Let's go buy him. Screw it. Let's take the risk. 6.75 million is a much higher fee than we've been paying out recently, but I think we can go buy him. I think he's a good bit of business. Vlad Dragomir is a good player as well, 21-year-old Romanian. I don't think we're going to buy him though. I think, what about Omar El Abdellaoui at Dortmund, the right back? 7.5 million is too much, too rich for my blood. Shea Ojo wants 30.5 grand, which is nuts. What does he get at Liverpool? 22. Let's see if we can get him in on 25. Give him a 4-year deal. I want him on a long contract. Minimum fee, release clause 14.25. Let's see if we can sneak that out of there. Sell on fee percentage, let's see if we can sneak that out too. Everything else I'm happy with. I'm happy with it only being 3 years and I'm happy giving him 28.5. There we go. None of that stupid sell-on nonsense. Hopefully we can get him tied up. Replace Cardoso as vice-captain. Murray Wallace, I suppose. Sure. Surprised he's not already. Who is the captain, actually? Jamie Bird-Jonas is the captain. Interesting. Okay, so Zach Rudden completing his loan move to Dundee United. I'm just wanting to get the transfers that we're currently looking at, which is Shea Ojo and this young Lettieri. I'm just wanting to get them tied up before we look at anything else. Just want to see if they're actually definitely going to go through, and if they do, then look at where else we can spend the money, you know. I don't like having like let you get a bit of business done before I go in on anything else. Dunfermline want to loan Liam Kelly, but again he has to stay here as backup keeper. I might actually look for a backup keeper if we get the deals done and we still have a bit of money. Now, young Kai Sirhuis, which is how I'm choosing to pronounce this, at PSV, I'm interested that they could actually buy him from Ajax. They paid 3.9 million for him. And apparently he'd be available for 10 to 15. Do you know, he's a good player, but I think 10 to 15 is too rich for my blood. Even though we have a bit more money now in the coffers than we used to. Somebody when we have Morelos and Edward who are capable of doing a job at the moment, and possibly this young Brazilian guy coming in. I think we're still playing in that kind of 5 to 10 ballpark of being a 5 to 10 million deal is a big deal for us still. So we're on the winter break, but the lower leagues aren't, so the youngsters are still playing. Adam Muirhead playing okay, Robbie McCrory playing well for Partick, Milanese playing a little below par, Fopala playing poorly for Livy, Danny Finlayson playing poorly as well for Morton despite a clean sheet, Isaac Ahmed playing okay for Morton, Nicky Hograth playing pretty bang average despite a clean sheet, Steve Ramsey playing well for Airdrie, Jay Duncan playing less than well for Stenhouse Muir, Gareth Haas playing well for Stirling Albion despite a loss, Mark Wyness playing very poorly for Annan, Aidan Wilson playing poorly as well for Inverness, Ross McCrory playing poorly for Ross County, so clearly our youngsters aren't doing that well, although Dominic Lydon did very well for Peterhead against Barora, a goal and an assist for them in that game. Andy Gilmore is going out on loan to St Mirren, good for him. Our Lettieri thing is pending a work permit now. See if the Home Office screw this, I swear to God. Hibs want Dimitri Mitchell on loan. I'm going to say no to that because I still think he's got a part to play. Rangers have asked for a work permit to be granted to Brazilian forward Leandro Lettieri. A decision is likely to be made Monday the 11th, which is tomorrow. We've agreed to sign the player for 6.83 million. How they get that figure, I have no idea, but there you go. And Shea Ojo is coming in. £7 million will be deducted from our transfer budget of £46 million. So well within that still. And we're going to be snapping up Shea Ojo from Liverpool. First signing of the window. He'll be competing now with Haksabanovic and Akram Afif. Haksabanovic possibly getting less game time now because of the fact he's only a loan player, of course. Shea Ojo is rated as better than Haksabanovic and Afif. And he's a potential star in the league. He'll be a leading player for most clubs in the league. So, be good to see him make his debut. Hopefully he can go on to become a good player here. He's already worth 8.25, which is more than we paid for him. We've got him on a 3-year deal. Possibly he'll end up going somewhere else, I think. I don't see him staying at Rangers for the rest of his career. Work permit has been turned down. He's not played enough international games. Rangers have appealed the decision. Should we fail, then we have to wait. And it'll be another 4 days before we find out about that appeal process. We now have Shea Ojo in. I think I want to take a little review of the squad before we go and look for anybody else to come in. There may well be goalkeepers out there who we could bring in that would already be four stars possibly for us, maybe even better than that. Some great goalkeepers probably available, but we want Ian Fulton to be our man. We want him to stick at the club for the long haul. Being as good as he is already, still only a teenager, we definitely want him to stick around. Right, so a review of the squad. Let's clear everything out here, see where we're short. So in goal we've got Ian Fulton and then Liam Kelly's backup, so we're kind of short in goal. At full back there we've got Byram, Gamboa, Houston, Jack can do it too, so we're fine at right back. Centre back we've got Murray Wallace and Ivanildo Fernandez, so we want to be bringing in a centre back, I think. We'll just put Murray Wallace and Fernandez in these at the moment. Left back we've got Borthwick Jackson and Dimitri Mitchell can cover, so we're okay at left back. In the midfield we're bloated, I dare say. We've got Cataldi and again in there, and Jonas and Jack and Henderson and everybody else. On the right hand side we've got Houston and O'Halloran both out there. Bednarchuk is coming back to play a part, but I'm not going to terminate the loan in January. I'm going to let him stay at Falkirk, getting game time every single week and continuing to develop. He can come back next season and play a part, so he's going to be out there on the right as well next season, so we don't want to bring in another right winger. In terms of the attacking midfield in the centre, maybe a little short. I mean, we've got Liam Henderson there, and we also want to develop Tim Gallagher. But for example, if Henderson goes down, you're dropping somebody in there, like McGinn, who's maybe not wholly comfortable. But, you know, I still don't think we need to buy anybody in that position. On the left, we now have Haksabanovic, Ojo, and Afif. Who Real Betis want Afif. And then up front, we have, of course, Morelos and Odson-Edouard. So I don't think we're really short anywhere in particular, if I'm 100% honest. A centre-back, we definitely need to get one in. We have big Ithami here, who is 2 stars, is not a good player. Hasn't worked out for him at Rangers whatsoever. So I don't trust him to cover at all. What about this guy? He's transfer listed. Oyarzabal, 40.5 million. Aye, right, hold on. So, what do we actually want now? We would like... I see Ward-Prowse there as well. What about Pedro Silva as a goalkeeper? Is he any good? Whoa, he's worth 14.25 million. Alright. Kyle Bartley is transfer listed by a quest for 6 million. Wouldn't mind bringing Kyle Bartley back to Rangers. Possibly. Moy Gomez at Swansea's listed too. Have a little look at him. Deal Fry from Middlesbrough looks decent, but he's probably going to be far too much money. Dan Bunn from Middlesbrough as well, 28-year-old Englishman. Also looks decent, is on quite a low wage actually for being in the English Championship. Let's see if there's a potential of bringing him in. Joel Pereira actually from Man United, the goalkeeper. Possibly an option. Basically this is mostly what I'm going to do, just scroll through here, see if there's anybody who jumps out. What about Matt Miazga? Scouting in process already. He looks okay. Reece Oxford there on loan at Fulham would be a good signing, even though we couldn't get him in now, of course. Winston Reid at West Ham, the older lad there, listed 4.1 million. Have a wee scout of him. Adam Webster from Ipswich as well. So basically we're just going through, having a look at who pops up. Joe Waddle here from Huddersfield, playing games regularly for them in the Championship. Who's this guy? Jack Stevens at Southampton's listed. He could probably be a good player for Rangers. 3.6 million as well is a good price. Roman Burki is actually listed. 13 million though is far too rich for my blood. Derek Williams there at Blackburn. So we're just going to advance a little bit and allow these reports to trickle in. We'll have a look at what the numbers come out as. What kind of player we're maybe going to make a move on. Okay, our match with Aberdeen's televised, that's fine. Hopefully honestly, I'm not optimistic now. I fear we might not get him. I fear the Home Office might screw this move and he'll go on to be the next bloody Ronaldo probably. And we've missed it on him. He should get the decision today. Let's check the scouting, see if those reports are in yet. Scouting for transfer, days old. Oh, let's scroll up to the top, there we go. Right, Reece Oxford, Sam Worrell, etc, etc, right. Daniel Podence is a good man on the right hand side, especially for that price of 1.7 million. Brighton are trying to loan him. We got a report 13th of this month actually saying he's a very good player out there. Wow, we might have to pounce on this guy because he looks good, man. Let's get into the hunt. For 1.7 million, I'd be willing to pay him relatively high wages. That's just randomly popped up there. We didn't even try and scout him. Jamie Crichton is joining Stoke, sadly. So we missed out on that young man. Andre Horta from Benfica, listed at 3.4 million. We got a report on the 13th as well, saying he'd be better than Cataldi. I think we need to move on him as well. I mean, some bargains coming out of Portugal right now. Roman Burki would be a great goalkeeper for £13 million, but it is a hell of a fee, and it would obviously stifle Ian Fulton. Fernando Pacheco, likewise, would be a good goalkeeper, but it would stifle Ian Fulton. A lot of these players actually don't look that great. Let's go right down to where we are. Diego Demi would be brilliant, of course. Jack Stevens would be good at 3.6 million. A lot of these players look quite good. Cameron Carter-Vickers would be a good get. 1.9 million they're asking for him. We could get him for free if we agree to sign him for summer, or we could get 1.9 if we want him now. Do you know what? Here's what I'm going to look at. Let's try and get him for free or not. Oh, that's right. We tried to talk to him already. Ignore me for getting that. What about this Fausto Rossi? Nah. So we're just kind of, and some of these players I'll remember, and some of them I won't. Some of them I'll look at. So for example, De Paoli, I don't really remember. He was a midfielder at Chievo, right? But we've already identified we don't need a midfielder. Jack Stevens, I think, is a decent option. Dan Burn, 19 million is ridiculous. 4.1 for Winston Reid's a bit too much for a guy of his age. Dale Fry, only 6.3. Webster. See, I generally look at these 63, 52, 62, 56. Those kind of players aren't going to be really good enough. Tom Cleverley would be, but he's a midfielder. We don't need him. Alab Dalawi, Matt Miazga. No, all these fees as well here. This is the maximum that we would be expected to pay, and this is the minimum we'd be expected to pay. According to our scout, they might not be entirely accurate, but if the maximums are way up, see for Derek Williams at like 16 million or 13.5, 15.5, it's just too much money. So for example, yeah, Joe Worrell there, 74 is a good recommendation. He'd be better than Wallace and Fernandes and could still improve, but 16.75 million is way too much. Reece Oxford, max price 30.5, so way too much for him. I think who we want to look at, Mark Roca here, as a ball playing defender. I quite like that option. Let's check the report. As a defender, he'd be below Borthwick Jackson apparently, so nah, maybe not then. He could maybe playing a 3 at the back there, but possibly not in a 2 as we play. So perhaps Jack Stevens looks the best option. You know, still better than what we have currently, which is, but then his estimated wage 42.5 to 100 grand is just ludicrous. He's on 83 grand at Saints. Christ almighty. Right, well, we're not going to be going for him then. See, this is where a lot of considerations come into play. Some of these guys are cheaper, but their wages are higher. So, for example, like Jack Stevens. Kyle Bartley, for example, is 6 million, but would want up to 32.5. He's also only rated at 56, which I find a bit strange. He'd be below Fernandes and Wallace. What about Joe Worrell? No, see, I'm not convinced by any of these guys really. Let's go back to the player search and let's do a new search, and we'll just look for a centre back. No other criteria, just a centre back, and we'll look at the gaps, because obviously people have recommendations, people have already scouted, so we'll just look at gaps, like Declan Rice of West Ham, just for example, currently listed for loan. Looks a decent player, but I've no interest in picking him up. Players who are highlighted in blue are obviously already on loan, so no point getting them. Higazi at Crystal Palace we'll have a look at. No interest in any of them. Jordan Spence, perhaps. Have a little look. 30-year-old Englishman there. Cara, who's at Ajax at the moment, 31-year-old Senegalese. We'll look at him. Tommy Smith at Ipswich. We just want to pick up scout reports on a lot of these players. Kevin Stewart here, for example. He's a deep line midfielder more than a centre back. Mikel Vesga, is he a centre back? Nope, he's also a deep line midfielder. Bailey Wright playing for Bristol City. So basically, a lot of this is just manual work going through them. Danny Bath here looks a pretty decent player actually. Listed for 2.9, so maybe we want to pick him up. Angus MacDonald is a good Scottish name, even though he's English apparently. Do we get in on his other nationalities? He's only available for England. Strange, because he sounds Scottish as they come. So the Podence bid has been accepted. He's unsure about signing as a key player, but he's willing to do it. He wants us to win silverware next season, which is fine. Let's get into contract discussions. Ryan Jack is worried about signing of Andre Horta. I think we might be replacing him. Let's see. I know where you're coming from, but competitions for places is healthy. I want you to stake a claim for a regular place. Everything you've said makes sense. I'm prepared to help this club in whatever way I'm needed. Excellent. And Horta wants to talk. Wow, look how low his contract demands are. 12k. What's he getting now? 9k. That is criminally low, man. I'm going to offer him 17.5 to try and secure him. I want him on a 4-year deal. Minimum fee release of 13.5 isn't bad considering we're getting him for a low fee. I don't want him getting any of the money though. And he's accepting that. So if we can pick up Andre Horta, that is a hell of a good window. Okay, Podence wants a higher wage. Do you know what we can offer higher wages considering we've got a good bit spare in the transfer budget? Minimum fee release 14 million considering we're only paying a low amount. Likewise, so he's happy with that 32k. Do you know, I'm not focusing too much on these because I think some of them are going to get stolen by other clubs. Oh, there we go. Sporting Lisbon's Leandro Letiri has been granted a conditional British work permit for his move to Rangers and is set to sign. And he comes, the young man. Let's see what our scouts make of him now that he's officially a Rangers player. Important player and could still improve. Let's look at the report. He's better than Morelos and Edward already, apparently. Very well suited to Premiership football. Let's look at him. Pace in abundance. Look at that. 17 acceleration, 16 pace, 14 strength as well. Good agility, good balance. 13 finishing, 14 composure. Looks a good player, good technique. Looks a nice young Brazilian poacher, although he kind of looks like somebody smacked him in the back of the head with a frying pan. But as long as he buries the goals, we don't care about that. So it's a good one to get him in. Actually, let's see, can we tutor him already? No, because he's got a senior role in the squad. Okay, well, we're through the break already. St Johnstone versus Dundee here, and naturally, St Johnstone, after beating Celtic back-to-back, they've lost at home to Dundee. See if we can get any more deals done before the Celtic game. The Celtic game, by the way, will be next episode. I know it's a bit of a tease, but I'm not going to play it this episode. This episode was just a transfer episode, really. Paul Lambert's been saying some shit about us. Fine, Bert Conterman can respond in his press conference because we don't do them because we're above that. Rest of the clubs playing on Saturday. Falkirk go down to Hibs 2-1. Were they away at Pataudry there? Did I see that right? Hearts 0-0 with Killie. Yep, Ayr lose 2-0 at Pataudry, sadly. Hearts draw with Killie. So that puts them level with Celtic now. Aberdeen are 1 behind Celtic in the race for second. Bednarchuk doesn't play well as Falkirk lose to Hibs. Is he still developing though? He is indeed. Muirhead plays well for Stranraer. Duncan plays okay. Andy Gilmore plays poorly for St Mirren, which is a damn shame. Robbie McCrory plays well for Partick despite their loss. Marco Milanese doesn't feature for long enough. Finlayson plays okay for Morton, as does Isaac Ahmed, scoring a goal. Actually, Ahmed played well, 7.3. Aidan Wilson, poor for Inverness. David Fopala, bang average as Livy lose 3-0. David Bates, Little below average is Ayr Lewis at Pittodrie. Gareth Harris playing okay for Stirling Albion. Dominic Lydon, okay, getting an assist for Peterhead. Mark Wine is playing well at the back for Annan. Dapple Mabudi playing very poorly for Hamilton as they lose at Tannadice. Ross McCrory playing a little below average as County go down to Wraith. Nicky Hogarth, playing relatively well for Wraith. And Stephen Ramsey playing pretty poorly for Airdrie. So is there time for any more deals to go through before this Celtic game? I don't think so, since we're in the tactical briefing and all that already. I don't see any of these signings being confirmed in time to play against Celtic. Even if they are, I don't see them coming in to start fresh against Celtic. Liam Henderson report. First team player could still improve. He's probably about at his peak now, Henderson, even though his stats are still going up. He's a good player. I think he's from an era where we're trying to dominate Scottish football. I think ultimately he probably won't last into an era where we're trying to make a dent in Europe. But we'll do right by him. Don't get me wrong, we're not just going to put him out to pasture. But that's going to be it. I know it's a little bit of a tease leaving it here before the Old Firm game, but that'll be next episode. So we're basically waiting on Horta and Podence to make their decisions regarding their contracts. Andre Horta there with a scout recommendation of 88 in the midfield would be much needed quality if we're going to be having a run at Europe. Has he played for Benfica? Not really. He's been a bit hard done by Benfica. Daniel Podence from Sporting Lisbon comes with an 84 recommendation. And he has been playing for Sporting, but a little disappointingly. So perhaps needs to get away to revitalise his career. He can play in a number of positions as well, out wide on either side. He can also kind of play in the middle a little bit if needed to fill in. Andre Horta, in terms of his versatility, can play pretty much everywhere in the middle and can actually fill in out wide left. So we're just waiting for those two guys as well. Possibly look into more deals too. We're actually above our wage budget now, but we can fiddle with those figures and sort all that out. So overall, I'd say so far it's a good transfer window. We have actually only completed the signing of two, Shea Ojo and Lethierry. Lethierry, I'm going to butcher that all the time. Why did I sign him? But yeah, that's the biggest fees we've spent so far by a distance, I think. Everybody has basically been free. Maximiliano Oliveira 1.7 and Jonas Knudsen 1.9. How's he getting on these days? Jonas Knudsen playing in China, getting 18 grand. He's played really well actually over in China. Good for him. But yeah, they are by far the biggest fees we've spent so far, so pressure on them. But I think they should be able to live up to that. And also, obviously, the biggest fee by far we've got in is that 16 million for Fabio Cardoso. Has he played yet for them? He has. He started two. Look at that. He started 2 English Premier League games, has an assist, 1 man of the match, and a 7.7 average from both games. So clearly a good player, clearly a capable player, going to be down there for Southampton. And I hope he does well. He's been a good lad for us, don't get me wrong. He's been in and out of the team making some mistakes, but he's overall been a pretty good player for us. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Different one today with no fixture. Let me know what you think about this transfer stuff, whether we should go through these every transfer window. It certainly seems to work in January. It's a nice little sort of half-hour window that we play getting there in January. In summer it might be a little more tricky because it takes about an hour and a bit or something to get through the summer window, so that might not make for such a neat episode as this one has ended up doing. But as I say, hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have done, please drop down below and leave a like on the video. Of course, you can subscribe to the channel if you want to follow the development of the likes of Lethierry. Great. If you want to develop, I'm messing this up now. If you want to follow the development of my pronunciation of our Brazilian striker, or if you want to follow the development of Shea Ojo here at the club, and let's face it, why would you not, then you can subscribe to the channel, which I'd be really grateful for. But mostly, as I always say, I just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time when it's the Old Firm game, and then Dunfermline away.